The year was 2006. The gaming industry was in its twilight years of the 6th console generation, as the PlayStation 3 was on its way after an incredibly successful past few years with the PlayStation 2. The Xbox 360 had already been released, with its early months being notably slow because despite all these games at launch, none of them were called Halo 3, so no one cared. And then sitting in the back lines was Mr. Bronze Medal himself, the Nintendo Gamecube. The release of the next console, the Nintendo Revolution, which would eventually become the Nintendo Wii, was still a few months away, so Nintendo needed to squeeze the life out of the Nintendo GameCube as much as possible. During this time, we would get pretty much nothing, but there was a third-party game published by Nintendo, something sealed away, an entity that if released would possess the victim with the spirit of a stereotypical mid-2000s white American. A game we may or may not be better off without. Hello people, I'm Tommy, and nothing screams 2023 quite like 2006. And ever since Halloween, I have dreaded the day that I have to bring the power of Odama back into the modern world. But what the hell is this exactly? Well, on first glance, I have no f***ing clue. We can see a medieval Japanese setting with famous Japanese icons like samurai and the giant disembodied spider head man, but other than that, I am at a loss. At first, I thought it was something similar to Dynasty Warriors, a hack-and-slash franchise where you fight large armies in style. But no, I couldn't have been any more wrong, because you begin to see what this game's all about once you glance over at the back of the box. Yes, this is no hack-and-slash or role-playing game. This is a medieval Japanese strategy game, but the gameplay is pinball. But that's not where the twists end, because this is also a game that utilizes the GameCube microphone. To put that into perspective, the games that used this peripheral were Mario Party 6 and 7, Karaoke Revolution, and of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Odama. That's the whole GameCube microphone lineup, so Odama better impress, because if it doesn't, I might have to scoot over to Mario Party 6 and use the microphone for an actual good video game. But I've wasted enough of your time. Let's release the Kraken and unbox this copy of Odama. Oh, the sweet smell of 2006 air. How I have missed you. And I can feel the air rushing to my brain as we speak. Oh god. I'm okay. Just a little lightheaded. What's this? Oh, Nintendo GameCube! Yo, this thing is baller! And it's a game called Odama. We gotta try this right now. So welcome to the world of Odama. You're first introduced to the story where you're leading an army in order to take over medieval Japan. You get to play as the mighty Odama, also known as the pinball itself. And you must guide your army from the bottom of the screen to the top of the screen while you shout commands at them. And this is where the GameCube microphone comes into play, where you must yell commands like go forward, advance, and rally to get your troops into position. And you have two powers during the course of the game. The Odama, like talked about before, and this bell, referred to as the Nintendo, or Ninten Bell. Can you take a wild guess on what that's a reference to? And you have to get this bell to the end of the stage. Also, this is spoken completely by a Japanese narrator with English subtitles, which is reason number one why this shocks me that we actually got this game overseas back in 2006. But anyway, you use the power of the Odama and bell to lead your army to victory under a time limit. And come on, a medieval Japanese pinball conquest game? Tell me that's not a unique idea. And it is a unique idea because the premise was done so poorly that no one has ever attempted it ever again. You thought this was going to be something where I talk about the positives and the negatives of Odama? No, I'm not, because this game 100% sucks ass. Where do I even begin? Okay, the troops. You have a limited number of these guys to deploy, and as they die, or if you hit them with the Odama, your morale goes down. Why is this bad? Well, you need these troops to do specific actions in order to get them to the end of the stage. So you use the Gamecube microphone to command the troops. Well, in reality, you're mainly going to be just screaming one command, and that's the rally command, because you need your troops to carry objects to a specific place in order to go forward. Now, this wouldn't be an issue if they weren't slow as hell and got pushed back every 5 seconds by the enemy team. Now, yes, there are ways to replenish your troops. If you get this power up, it turns the ball green and adds the enemies to your side. But that's luck-based, just like every other action in this godforsaken game. I don't have a problem with games that make you micromanage small details, but this game makes you spread out your army in a way that you'll be getting cut down, and by the end of it, your troops are no longer going to listen to you because your morale is too low. And then we've got the timer, which in all fairness, I didn't have that much of an issue with. In most instances, it was nothing to pay mind to, but in a specific area, it was very annoying. So let me talk to you about my personal hell that was playing this game for 3 hours. The start of the game was fair enough. It taught you the basics of how physics lets you hit a ball with a paddle and it shoots upwards. The earliest form of pinball can be traced back to the 1930s, but no one actually gave a rat's ass about the game until Space Cadet Pinball came out and revolutionized the industry. Odama wanted to innovate on this concept by adding a microphone, and I will say, I never had one issue with the Gamecube microphone, but that's not really any points for Odama, that's more points for the microphone itself. Anyway, the first 2 levels are fine. Level 3, on the other hand, made me question a lot of things about myself, included, but not limited to, why am I here? What crimes against humanity did I commit in my past life that God had to force me to sit down and play level 3 of Odama? Smegma. But alas, I did overcome my divine punishment and I beat level 3. And then level 4 was the first boss fight of the game, and it wasn't that bad, still pretty annoying with the troop morale, but it was way better than the previous level. But after that, my physical and mental state was too drained to move on. So in conclusion, do I recommend Odama? Well, the game does have its upsides. Like if you're trying to torture a prisoner of war and you need them to talk, I'm sure the game can help with that. If someone were sentenced to death, and the only way to avoid it was to play 15 minutes of Odama, I can guarantee you that that death row inmate would be begging for the lethal injection. And that's about as far as my Odama recommendation goes. After playing this game, it actually pisses me off now that we got this game and not Nintendo Puzzle Collection. I have no idea why this was localized. No Doshin the Giant, no Puzzle Collection, no Donkey Konga 3, but hey, at least we've got Odama. It sucks that this game isn't good, because it had potential to be something very creative. And if I can say one positive thing about the game, it has a pretty cool manual. Can you tell I'm trying to think of something nice to say? But that was Odama, a foolproof example of even though something has got a unique concept, does not mean it's gonna be any good. And so the mid-2000s demon has left me. And you know, Odama sure was the interesting venture. One of agony, torture, smegma, and hate. And now, Odama sits right next to Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE, a fate worse than death.